Dororo single-handedly destroyed my expectations of black and white anime. I was surprised to discover how violent, suspenseful, dramatic, and well-produced the anime is in its first half. It even exceeds the experience of the 2019 remake in certain areas, but I'll save my thoughts on it, its alternate versions, and list of skippable episodes for later in this review. Dororo is set in a fictional Warring States era following Hyakkimaru, an orphan whose body parts were sacrificed to demons by his warmonger father before discarding him. Luckily, a skilled surgeon discovered his helpless body floating down a river, taking him under his care, and crafting countless prosthetics to replace his missing organs and extremities. Of course, these are no ordinary prosthetics. Instead, they contain weapons such as the swords hidden beneath his forearms, which he uses to regain his original body by slaying one demon at a time. Along his journey, Hyakkimaru encounters his traveling companion Dororo, a mischievous and outspoken homeless orphan stealing to survive. Strangely, Dororo is in black and white despite other full-color TV anime predating it, but ironically, its pilot episode was also animated in color. However, remaining in black and white worked in the anime's favor. Dororo is thematically dark, which is aided by its monochrome aesthetic. The anime delves deep into the nature of poverty, oppression, and despair fueled by a tyrannical warlord ruthlessly murdering for the sake of power. Thankfully, Dororo's early plot divides each threat into 2 to 3 episode segments while following its overarching plot. This allows them to flesh out all of its story, characters, and action sequences without sacrificing anything. Early in their journeys, we experience flashbacks depicting their horrific upbringings and how they're interconnected, considering Hyakkimaru's father is the catalyst for the war, spawning the countless hardships and tragedies Dororo endured. They convey the same degree of hopelessness through the perspective of destitute villagers living under the fear of demons or ruthless samurai. In fact, the black and white aesthetic, along with their detailed backgrounds, created an atmosphere similar to Akira Kurosawa's samurai films such as Seven Samurai and Yojimbo. Dororo producers knew the perfect length to draw out scenes for maximum suspense. For example, characters suddenly become quiet as ominous tension creeps in with the subtle sounds of something inhuman approaching. The hair on the back of my neck stood at attention as I savored the anxious moment awaiting the big reveal. The same can be said for the character interactions, as the pauses between sentences combined with facial expressions speak just as loudly as the words themselves. I think the 2-episode per segment pace is perfect because it allows them to add additional context through the stories of its primary and temporary characters. Sure, some may only be around for a couple episodes, but their impact far exceeds their screen time. My favorite one-off character was the Ronin possessed by a demonic sword. These 2 episodes display his downward spiral into madness. They even go into the details of the impact of the war on his home village and family. Surprisingly, my experience with the first half of Dororo felt similar to an emotional and exciting modern anime. It contains all of the exposition and character development we love, plus the intensity of Dororo brutally murdering with the finesse you'd expect of a pissed-off blind deaf quadruple amputee with knives glued to his body. I was honestly in shock when he started cutting demon-possessed dog heads off, attacked a band of samurai leaving blood flying everywhere, and struggling to kill the overwhelmingly powerful demon bosses. I had no idea 60s anime was this gritty and mature. Even Berserk fans would enjoy Dororo as it was likely influential to Kentaro Miura. Hyakkimaru's life is endless misery after being sacrificed to demons who constantly haunt him. His introduction to the character Dororo reminded me of early Berserk chapters when Guts warns his traveling companions of the danger of following him. Unfortunately, all of my prior compliments pertain to the first 11 episodes. The last 2/3 were riddled with soulless filler episodes and poorly executed canonical moments overlooking entire plot points and altering its ending. On the one hand, several of these episodes were mind-numbing considering the expectations set by the first third, but on the other hand, it's consistently bad at that point, so you can stop watching after episode 11 if you want. This degradation of quality was likely due to the manga also going downhill during the same part. I'm uncertain of specific dates, but the Dororo manga was cancelled, later to be continued and finished in another magazine. From my experience, the first 11 episodes of the 1969 Dororo were the most faithful to the manga while also improving upon it. Sure, it's not a 100% faithful adaptation either, as Hyakkimaru earns back his body parts in a different order, leading to him growing back the same leg twice. If you decide to stop watching after episode 11, you can continue the manga on chapter 10. However, if you'd like to continue the anime with its canon episodes, feel free to skip 13 through 15, 18 through 20, 22, 23, and 25. Although the non-canon episodes contribute body part regrowth to its own anime canon, it's honestly not important. Both the anime and manga offer a complete ending, but I'm honestly not a fan of either of them as they both feel abrupt. The only Dororo version to offer a satisfying ending was the 2019 remake, but numerous liberties were taken with that adaptation, so they're not interchangeable. You'd have to start from the beginning. By comparison, I believe the 1969 series offered a superior introduction by giving each segment 2 episodes as opposed to the 2019 remake, which limits it to 1. The remake lacks in certain scenes and character execution, but it still is consistently enjoyable with loads of action, a satisfying amount of drama and character development, and a much better ending. The remake also excels when depicting Hyakkimaru's disabilities. Here, he's introduced as mute, deaf, and blind as he should be. It totally improves the dynamic between him and Dororo while also making his victories more meaningful as he gradually pieces his body back together. The 2007 live-action movie was my first Dororo exposure, and one of the few live-action anime movies I actually enjoy and acknowledge. It's over 2 hours long, and its director, Akihiko Shiota, took enough liberties with its plot to make everything fit and feel natural. I haven't seen it in over a decade, but I remember feeling for its characters and enjoying its action and cinematography. I recommend checking it out after you finish one of the other versions. Although I haven't beaten Blood Will Tell for the PlayStation 2, it is pretty fun from what I can remember. I can't speak to the quality of its story, but I know it has an ending, and the getting your body parts back goal is an ideal premise for a video game. The gameplay changes as you complete your body, such as sacrificing the cannon hidden in your leg in exchange for running faster and transitioning from black and white to full color upon receiving your natural eyes. Overall, the first 11 episodes of 1969 Dororo was a 10 out of 10 experience, provided you don't watch any of its previews. They spoil everything, including deaths and suicides. Unfortunately, the final 2/3 weren't nearly as enjoyable, so I give Dororo a 7.5 out of 10. Nevertheless, I highly recommend checking it out, which says a lot considering there's already a good remake. Think of it like Full Metal Alchemist 2003 and Brotherhood. It's worth watching part of the first anime to enjoy the newer one more. Thanks to all who support these videos on Patreon or by buying manga, anime Blu-rays, and clothing through the affiliate links in the video description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon with Yusha J. Decker and the original Japanese Speed Racer.